Welcome to the Catholic Sobriety Podcast, the go-to resource for women seeking to have a deeper understanding of the role alcohol plays in their lives. Women who are looking to drink less or not at all for any reason. I am your host, Christy Walker. I'm a wife, mom, and a joy-filled Catholic, and I am the Catholic Sobriety Coach, and I am so glad you're here. Today, we are going to be tackling a topic that I think so many of us can relate to, which is finding ways to unwind that don't involve pouring a drink. Whether you are sober curious, cutting back, or simply trying to create healthier habits, I think you will love this conversation. So here's the truth. Life is overwhelming sometimes, and it's normal to want a break. Maybe it's just been one of those days where everything feels so heavy. Or maybe you just want a moment to yourself to have some space and to breathe. I've been there. But if you've been turning to alcohol as your go-to relief or as your way out, there's a pretty good chance that maybe you have started to wonder, is this really the best option for me? Can I find something else that feels good and leaves me in a better place? Something that doesn't cause all this chaos in my head. If that's where you are, I want you to pause, take a deep breath. You are in the right place, and we are going to talk about how you'll be able to escape, relax, and cope without using alcohol. Now, stick around till the end because I have a tool that I've been using with the ladies that joined my Freedom 46 Lenten Challenge. They are loving it. I'm having my family use it. They are loving it. And I think you will love it too. I'm also going to have a digital download with examples of this tool in my show notes. So again, stick around and find out what that is. The first thing that really needs to happen is to identify the feeling behind the drink. So when you feel that urge come up, take a moment and ask yourself this question. Why do I reach for the drink in the first place? Is it to numb stress? Is it to quiet anxiety? Is it to celebrate something? Or maybe is it simply to switch off your brain for a bit? I've had some women say that having that drink kind of puts them into the second half of their day. So they have the first half of the day, and then having a drink then delineates for them like, oh, this is my time. Now, something that I suggest is to spend time journaling about this specific question. Why do I reach for the drink in the first place? Once you identify that, then you're already halfway there because now you can meet that need in a whole new way. What are those alternatives going to be without the drink? Because drinking is easy. Opening up that wine bottle, pouring it in the glass, having a sip, and the effects that come from that is easy. When you have to stop and think, then your brain just is like, you know what, sis, this is too hard. You know what's a lot easier? Let's reach for the drink. But I'm going to give you some tips and tools really that you can use starting today to have some healthier ways to de-stress or cope so that you can resist those urges to drink. Now, the first is to create a ritual for yourself. It's no secret. We are creatures of habit, and rituals hold so much power. So if grabbing a drink at the end of the day has been your ritual, I suggest replacing it with something more meaningful and healthier. So maybe brew a cup of herbal tea, light a candle, take a bath or a shower with essential oils. Make it an experience that signals to your brain you're decompressing now. For me, I love lighting a lavender candle, putting on some soft music, and journaling. It might sound super simple, but it gives my mind and body the ability to shift gears in a way that feels almost indulgent. So that is what you are looking for. The second is to move your body. I know, some of you are rolling your eyes at the thought of exercise, but please hear me out. When we move, even if it's a gentle movement, our bodies release endorphins, which is a natural feel-good hormone. Now, it could be 10 minutes of stretching. It could be a slow evening walk or even dancing around your living room to your favorite songs. Keep in mind, this movement isn't necessarily about weight loss or fitness goals. It's actually about just shifting your energy and releasing the stress that builds up through your day. One of my clients has said that what she loves to do is when she starts to feel that tension in her body, she just takes a moment and she just wiggles it out. I used to do this with my kids. I'd be like, get your wiggles out, like before we went into a store or church or something. And that's what she does. She just like gets her wiggles out, wiggling her arms, wiggling her legs, wiggling her head. And I've tried it. And honestly, it feels really good. I mean, you might not want to do it in a public place, but when you're in the comfort of your own home, just get the wiggles out. And it'd be really fun to have your kids do it with you. I'm sure they would absolutely love it. So try that and let me know how it goes. This client, she loves it. She swears by it. So when she has that craving or urge or tension in her body, she just wiggles it out. The next is to practice prayerful escapes. Now, you don't need to spend hours. Just take 5 to 10 minutes. Pause and breathe deeply. You can put on some, I love Gregorian chant. If you have the Hallow app, there's tons of stuff on there. If you don't, there's other ones. Even just putting together like a Spotify playlist that helps calm you, or for me, my brain can move a million miles an hour. So I like having music, even if it's like lo-fi music or something. It just helps me if I'm trying to journal or read, just to have some of that going in the background. Actually, when I listen to Bible in a Year, I use the Hallow app, and this is not an ad for the Hallow app. I'm not sponsored, by the way. I just really love it. You have the ability to have some background music going. And so I do have some soft Gregorian chant going in the background. And for me, I just love that, especially right now, we're in the middle of Lent as I'm recording this episode. And this practice has helped me so much with my intentions, with my fasting, with the things that I'm trying to stay away from. So when I feel the pull or a temptation, especially if I'm stressed and I'm looking to kind of buffer, instead of reaching for my phone or whatever it is, now I can just take a few minutes and breathe deeply, put on whatever I want to listen to and journal or read. And that helps so much. So another alternative is to really explore creative expression. I mean, when was the last time you got creative for fun? I'm talking about writing, painting, journaling, playing with watercolors, even baking. These activities can give your mind that escape it craves, but it will leave you feeling proud and accomplished instead of guilty or exhausted. So think about those things that you maybe used to love doing and you haven't done in years. Maybe it's time to pick that back up or find a new hobby. And the fifth way to kind of escape without the drink is to connect with others. So sometimes drinking may feel like your default way of socializing or relaxing with others. But what if you mix things up? What if you propose a coffee date? Or maybe you host a girls' night and instead of having wine, you get all the fixings for like a mocktail bar and let people create and explore what it's like to have mocktails. You could even use like a functional spirit alternative. I like 3-spirit non-alcoholic elixirs, and you just put a little bit in whatever mocktail you're making, and it just gives it a little kick. And it does, I think that it has like a calming effect, but I think it probably depends on the person. But there are so many things out there that you can try that are great substitutes for alcohol and are way better for you. Here's the thing. You might be surprised at the depth of connection that you feel when alcohol is out of the picture. This is something that I also hear from the women that I work with. They may attend an event where previously they had always, had drinks and those types of things. Then they attended alcohol-free and they come away from it with a completely different perspective. And the thing that most of them say is that they were able to be fully present. And that's the goal. We don't want to escape from this one beautiful life that the Lord has given us. We want to live it to the full. The thing is, alcohol doesn't bring out your best self. It actually keeps you from discovering it. It keeps you from living fully present and fully alive. And once you realize that you can have fun and be completely yourself without alcohol, that is going to be a game changer. That is when everything is going to change. When you realize that you can cope with stress, that you can relax, that you can feel good without alcohol, that is going to change everything. Every time I talk with a woman who has been alcohol-free for a while or has greatly reduced the amount of alcohol she consumes, over and over again, I hear just how amazing she feels, how glad she is that she invested the time, that she works through the discomfort to build up those sober muscles so that she can have confidence. And once you do that, you will experience life in a whole new, beautiful way. Now, before I close, I did say that I would share a tool with you that has been working well for my Freedom 46 women, my Sacred Sobriety Lab women. And it is called the dopamine menu or a dopa menu. It's a tool that was created in 2020 by YouTuber Jessica McCabe, who is the author of How to ADHD. This dopamine menu is a way to boost your happiness because really that's what we are looking for when we are reaching for alcohol. We're looking for that dopamine spike because when we consume alcohol, it spikes our dopamine. Actually, even thinking about and planning out when you're going to drink, what you're going to drink, and all of those types of things, those also create little dopamine spikes in your brain throughout the day. You may have heard about this because it's pretty popular, I guess, with TikTok users. I'm not on TikTok, but it's on other social media channels. I honestly don't know where I learned about this, but I'm so glad that I did because it is a way to stimulate dopamine, which is a hormone and a neurotransmitter that is in our brain, and it is known as the feel-good hormone. Now, it's my understanding that this dopamine menu is actually a rebranding of what psychologists and other healthcare professionals used to call a behavioral activation, but that doesn't sound so exciting. I really like the dopamine menu. So let me just give you a really quick, brief rundown of what is included on the dopamine menu. And then I will include in my show notes a download. You can download an example dopamine menu with your own fill in the blank worksheet. So it starts out, just like most menus do, with an appetizer. The appetizers on your dopamine menu are short activities, things that you can quickly implement and use in a pinch. So you have a craving that comes up and you're looking for something really quick that can give you that dopamine spike. It can really be anything from savoring a cup of coffee to going on a quick walk. Now, the next is entrees or main courses. So these activities are going to take longer. They're just going to require more effort. And that's okay because sometimes you need something a bit more substantial. This could be cooking your favorite meal, finishing a book, taking a shower, going to the gym, making a nice meal, meeting up with a friend. So for me, I love vacuuming. It's one of those things that makes me feel accomplished. Sometimes when I'm working in the day and I'm starting to feel a little antsy or stressed, we have a stick vac that I can get out really quickly. It's a lot lighter and smaller than my regular vacuum. And I may just, as an appetizer, get that out and vacuum one room. And then I come back upstairs and I do my work and I actually feel really good. If I was going to make that into a main course, I would probably get out my bigger vacuum and vacuum all the main areas downstairs. I might even do upstairs. So it really just depends on how much time you have and what you're wanting to do. The next part of the dopamine menu is a side dish. Now, just like it sounds, the side dish goes with something else. So this could be listening to music, a podcast, an audiobook while you're walking or cleaning the house. It could be calling a friend while you're walking. Obviously, I like to walk and do things at the same time. One of my favorite things is to set a timer and play Beat the Clock, where I try to get something done. Maybe I'll say, I am going to declutter this drawer and I'm giving myself 5 minutes. And it's kind of a game to my brain. So setting the timer goes along with cleaning. Then the next thing is dessert. Now, these are things we do in moderation, like scrolling on social media, maybe watching TV or a movie, playing a game, or taking yourself out for coffee or lunch or something. And then the last thing is called special. So these are things that we rarely do, but are really great for spiking our dopamine. So that can be traveling or even planning a trip, enjoying a concert, going shopping. There's so many things that you can do that you will look forward to, that you can plan. And even just the planning spikes your dopamine. And then thinking about it coming up. Like, for example, we planned a trip to Hawaii last year with our kids. And I swear every time we did a little something else as the date was coming closer to when we got to go, I loved it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put that in the show notes, the download for that. Again, it's just my example, and then I have a blank template for you. Now, I want you to remember, when you choose alternatives to alcohol, you are actually giving yourself a gift. You are telling yourself, I can work through this. I can take care of myself in a way that honors my mind, body, and soul. And that is an incredible act of holy self-care. Now, I want you to walk away from this episode feeling empowered and not overwhelmed. So I invite you to start with one small step this week. Maybe that's a walk. Maybe that's a cup of tea or 5 deep breaths at the end of the day. Whatever feels good to you. Maybe that's starting your dopamine menu. You don't have to finish it all in one sitting, but just start thinking about it. And, it's not a one and done thing. You can always add to it if something else comes up. And then I just want you to remember that growth takes time. Progress over perfection. Be patient with yourself as you figure out what works for you. What works for you might not work for me or your sister or your best friend. So just give yourself grace on the days that you still feel tempted and take it as a learning experience. You are allowed to learn as you go. Let me repeat that. You are allowed to learn as you go. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. I hope you feel inspired to explore these alternatives and find ways to unwind that actually fill your cup. You are not alone on this path. I am cheering for you every step of the way. Well, that wraps up today's episode of the Catholic Sobriety Minisode. Thank you so much for joining me, and please be sure to subscribe to this podcast so you don't miss a thing. And remember, I am here for you. I am praying for you. You are not alone.